This is video number 5 of a 7-video series for nurse entrepreneurs, specifically empathic nurse entrepreneurs that are seriously thinking about starting their own business, or they have started their own business and they are paralyzed by fear or a lack of skill set, or they're just overwhelmed in terms of the steps to get there. This video is about defeating imposter syndrome, which is something that a lot of the entrepreneurs that I know and love must overcome in order to achieve success and getting themselves visible and in front of clients. The first video in the series was you have to give yourself permission. So subscribe to the YouTube channel Health Transformers Maine to find these other videos in the series. So the first video is give yourself permission, because no one else is going to give it to you. The second video is you have to give yourself time. The third video is moving through abundance and money blocks so that the business is a business and not a hobby. The fourth video was stop people pleasing. So a lot of nurses need to overcome the impulse for pathological people pleasing. So you need to overcome that if you're going to open, operate, and launch a business. And then this video, video number 5, is all about defeating imposter syndrome. So imposter syndrome, I'm gonna define it for you, and maybe you've identified already that you have it. For me, I truly didn't understand that I had it until I started my own business, and then I was like, I've had this my whole life. So I'm going to describe what it is. I'm going to give the definition. I'm going to talk about signs that you have imposter syndrome and give you some tips to overcome it. And then there are some action steps you can take to move yourself forward at the end of this video. So imposter syndrome is a feeling of self-doubt, or like you're a fraud, despite evidence of success. That's the simplest definition of imposter syndrome. So you're moving forward in your life, you're getting success. As a nurse, maybe you're going up the leadership chain, or maybe you're taking on more acute patients, and there's this voice in your head that's saying, they're going to find out that I don't know anything. They're going to find out that I'm a fraud. And this translates into entrepreneurship, where people, they start a business and they start serving clients, they start getting success. So let's say you're a nurse that's gone into coaching, consulting, or care coordination, and you start serving clients, you start getting results, and you start having these thoughts like, they're going to find out that I don't know everything. I'm going to be found out. They're going to find out that I'm a fraud. So that's an example of imposter syndrome. That's a symptom and definition of imposter syndrome. So more signs of imposter syndrome is you feel like a fraud or imposter. You have anxiety about being discovered. And this is especially true when you take your business to the next level. So this has been true when I started to scale my business. This has been true when I started offering to coach other health and wellness entrepreneurs in terms of launching and developing their own business. Thank you. So you feel like you discredit your contributions as well. So let's say you are working with a client. Let's say they're getting fantastic results, and you tend to discredit your contributions in terms of helping them. That's a sign of imposter syndrome. Feelings of guilt or fear when successful for some reason. So I have to move through this on a daily basis. So when I talk about client success, I've had to move through the whole, like, I feel like I'm bragging. I have to move through this whole, like, I feel like I'm shining the light on myself. This fear that people are going to judge me for bragging or whatever. The thing about owning, operating a business is that you do have to get visible. You have to get visible. That's just part of it. If you want to spread your message to more people, you have to get visible. So moving through that on a daily basis. You might limit yourself as to what you can do because your mindset is so restricted. You don't feel like you deserve to expand. You don't feel like you deserve to help people at a larger level because your mindset is restricted. I can't sit at that table. I don't deserve to sit here. That's an example. Self-criticism and even shame is a sign of imposter syndrome. Or you can go the opposite and overinflate yourself. So I see a lot of people like they overinflate their confidence. Overinflated confidence can be a sign of imposter syndrome. Discomfort with praise and recognition. So someone says, you're doing a fantastic job. Thank you so much. You've changed my life. You've helped me so much. And you have a hard time accepting that. And then if you don't want to be perceived as weak, you might have the inability to ask for help or get advice. Those are all signs of imposter syndrome. So nurses in particular, So nurses in particular can tend to have imposter syndrome from our perfectionistic thinking. We have to get it right the first time. We don't want to appear weak. And the very nature of the medical field and the ever-changing technical challenges of nursing is that we will not know everything. We will not know everything. So moving from a place of imposter syndrome and perfectionistic mindset and limiting beliefs into a space, a mindset, a growth mindset, which is obviously I don't know everything. No one knows everything. Obviously I'm not going to do this perfectly when I'm just starting out. No one does this perfectly when they're just starting out. But you have to start somewhere. Okay? So I'm going to give you a few tips as to overcoming imposter syndrome. So it's fine to feel the feelings, but what I said in a previous video before is a business is not built on feelings. It's helpful to always be motivated and to always feel like you want to do the things, but the business, just like health and wellness, is built on action, not feelings. So some tips to overcome imposter syndrome. Look back at how you served as a nurse and how you have helped your patients. Look back. You've probably been a nurse for several years, even a couple of decades. Look back on all your success stories. How have you brought patients from the brink of death to thriving or a lot better? How have you advocated for patients? Look back. And so for me, for example, in the hospital, I was told over and over again by patients and their families, you explained this to me way simpler than anyone else did. So I learned that I have the ability to take complicated concepts, break it down so that most people can understand it. So for you, when you've worked as a nurse in the hospital or in your coaching business now, what are the common denominators of what patients and or clients are saying? What are they saying to give you feedback? Maybe it's that you explain something very well. Maybe it's that you got back to them in a timely fashion. Maybe it's that you gave them feedback in a way that was compassionate, but also drove the point home that they needed to make a change. That's a special skill set. And that's a skill set of an empathic nurse, actually. Being able to read between the lines of what patients or clients are saying, what are they wanting to say, understanding their body language, so you can help them hash out what they need. So getting feedback from patients and also clients is very helpful in overcoming imposter syndrome, because that is going to help you remember how many times you've been successful, right? How many times you've been successful, how many times you've helped people. Then collect objective data. So I love this because this takes the emotional part out of it. Collect objective data. If your client's belly circumference has shrunk by like 4 to 8 inches by the time they're done working with you in your program, that's objective, measurable results. If your client has lost, 10 to 20 pounds after working with you, that's an objective measurement of success, if that's their goal. If they're rating their energy level, maybe they started as a 5, and by the time they're done working with you, they're like a 9, that's objective measurement of success. So ask for feedback from your clients and patients. How am I helping you? Because they're going to reassure you that you are doing a good job. Collect data, objective measurements of success, and remember your success stories. So write down when you have observed how you've helped people, how you've made a transformation or effected a transformation in a patient or client's progress, health outcomes, or experience. So those are some tips on overcoming and defeating imposter syndrome. It's very common in entrepreneurship, and it's very common when the entrepreneur starts advancing and expanding. Every time that I've advanced and expanded, my imposter syndrome will come back. And for me, it'll be like, my son's gonna die because I don't deserve this business success and to be healthy and to have a happy, healthy family. So I'll have like these irrational thoughts that I have to move through. So just identifying your thoughts, very helpful in terms of identifying, oh, that's the imposter syndrome showing up. I'm going to continue to act. No matter what my feelings are, I'm going to continue to act because at the end of the day, I know I can do this. So some tips for defeating imposter syndrome. So video number 6 out of 7 in this Empathic Nurse Entrepreneur Bootcamp is finding role models. Finding role models. So look out for video number 6. That's going to be happening in the next week or so. I'll post that. So if you want to learn more, I do have free resources that you can request from my website. My website is healthtransformersmaine.com. There's a link in the description. There's a tab called Entrepreneur Support where you can go, click, and request a copy of the Business Startup Guide, either that or the Business Goals Worksheet. So you can request one or the other. If you've watched my content and you're ready to take yourself seriously in terms of launching your own coaching, consulting, or care coordination business, go to my website, contact me there. Just type in, there's a contact us link, and just type in, I'm ready to launch my own gig. I believe in myself and I'm ready. So that's it for now. I'll see you in video number 6. Take care.